that does bring us to our bestiary. We are going to go over the red phoenix today. So,
yay!
We do have some special delineation when we get to 10 and the blue phoenix powers, but for the red phoenix is a very majestic bird, scarlet feathers, golden eyes. It's pretty much in every form of mythology. It's considered resurrection and this, rebirth that they have. So they essentially go through this immortality cycle where when they die, they're born again. If you've seen Harry Potter, Fox explodes and then is reborn. It's a very common, many cultures have this theme of a phoenix throughout. Their trial of worth, we did see this, so you have to display knowledge and judgment through a series of tests. They are tier 3, and they do reproduce through progeny, so no matter their color, they do build nests by the charberry trees, and those are found in the Isle of Ruma, so that's typically where they're found. They are able to evoke fire, and they are also able to manipulate fire, so any sort of molten rock or actual fire and flames they can manipulate. They are able to augment health, so increase healing and empower that in kind of either themselves or in others. For passive abilities, they are immune to heat and resistant to cold, and they do heal faster than normal arcanists, who heal faster than normal humans. So they are on super speed there. Yes, healing steroids. Their aura is the kindling of rebirth. So when they create an aura, there's a wave of heat and a storm of ash. All creatures that they would consider allies are healed, while creatures who are considered enemies are slowly seared away. So these spread across the ground. So they also give life to plants and other things that have long since died in the area.
That's freaking awesome.
Awesome. It just knows.
Right. It not only does it know to heal yours, hurt your enemies, and then it gives, to top it off, it gives life back to plants that died.
Awesome. Just awesome. Their true form is Gaia-based, so they must rebuild themselves from the ashes. So this means that they must essentially hit their lowest point and have the determination to make themselves better than ever before. Once they achieve this, they do get feathers that shine like polished gold, flames with a brighter radiance to them, and their tail becomes laced with silvers, whites, blues, reds, kind of every color of fire. And instead of the soot that they normally leave, they leave this gold dust that drops off their body. Their true form ability is resurrection. So Addie is pursuing this one for a reason. So it's the ability to bring the dead back to life. So each time they use that, one of their feathers burns away. So it's very limited in the number of times it can be used. And it also only works on somebody who has recently died within the last 10 years. And it has to be used on a part of their body. So you can't just like, oh, my cousin was washed away at sea, bring him back. He's got to actually be there for you to work the magic.
This is interesting that we get a specific timeline as far as how long they could have been dead for in order to be able to bring them back. I'm very, very curious as far as how long uncle and sister have been deceased, and to know like where on this timeline she is at.
Is she even aware of the timeline? Because
right.
The other thing, just based on her mom's comments, made it seem like, oh, she could just kind of resurrect as much as she wants. She'd become this all-powerful. But we do learn that it's more of a limited use. So it's not something you could just constantly be bringing all your allies back.
That'd be OPAF.
Yeah.
They died? All right, cool. They're back.
Me and the Hydro Arcanists are going to work.
Yes. Can't stop them. And then the second creature we will look at today is going to be the Ethereal Whelk. These creatures are made of light and dreams, and they basically are described as being a sea snail that is about the size of a person's head. Their colors are what looks like a bubble shining in the light, and they do have octopus-style tentacles that dangle from their body as they float, and they are able to basically hide in light itself, just like Luther can hide in shadows or live in the shadows. Ethereal Whelks can live in the light. Their mythology. These are one of the three mystical creatures that Shami herself solely created for the series. This is just one of those just chef's kiss that she does love snails, whelks, and slugs. And she said, for some bizarre reason, that's definitely something that we'll have to sit down with her at some point and ask her specifically about. But again, just chef's kiss on being able to create something like this. She did create the whelk as a complete opposite to the nightmare, that they are basically there to represent the author's desire to showcase the benefits of hope and her love of dreams in general. Now, ethereal whelks are often seen as sad reminders that children have died. Additionally, whelks have soft-spoken and childlike voices that often lead to the perception that they're creepy. However, most arcanists are rather positive. And we see this as a boon if they take up residence in a town and no one ever has nightmares again. So that's a pretty solid thing. Never have to worry about interrupted sleep. With the trial of worth, in order to bond with an ethereal whelk, that person has to overcome a nightmare that the whelk itself creates. So I wonder what kind of nightmare Adele just had to go through in order to bond with his whelk, Felicity. Now, whelks are tier 1 to tier 3. This can be increased by having them consume star shards. So for those Pokemon lovers out there that have that rare candy just sitting in the back pocket waiting to burn, this is the one to do it with. This is the Pokemon to shove down its throat. Their reproduction is fable birth. So again, fable birth is something that requires a certain set of circumstances to happen in order for them to be born. With ethereal whelks, they are born from drowning children who cling to hope. These are seen around shipwrecks typically, just because that's where masses of, and in the series itself, it was hinted at as far as the children clinging to hope, but wasn't explicitly stated. They're able to evocate light, and they are able to basically cast a huge ray of light or shine a huge orb of light. Can even actually burn objects if it's focused into a tight enough beam, just like a magnifying glass with an ant. They are able to manipulate dreams, and their Arcanist is able to touch somebody and have them change their dreamscape for them. The more they know about the person, the better the dreams they can do for them. They are able to augment wakefulness, or basically put people to sleep and then wake them back up. They can put them into deep sleep, and then when they augment themselves, they can enter the dreamscape themselves. Now, with passive abilities, ethereal whelks and their arcanists can have really lucid dreams. They are able to use telepathy, and once the whelk is older, they can actually hear surface thoughts through concentration. With their aura, they have hypersomnia, and when the whelk and their arcanist creates an aura, there's a soft, childlike melody playing across the area, and anyone that can hear falls asleep for the length of the aura is active or until they're woken. So they're also Jigglypuff, except they don't have a marker stuffed onto the end of their microphone so they can draw faces on people. I wonder if people just stuff cotton in their ears to keep from going to sleep, or if they actually it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's just too powerful.
Now, their true form is a virtue. The ethereal whelks must embody hope that life will get better in order for their eldrin to transform. This does also encompass the belief that you can have a beautiful future if you strive for it. With their appearance, true form whelks grow to the size of an adult human. They develop a long serpentine body. They have talons of an eagle, the face of a cat, and the tail of a lion. Their skin is also iridescent and sparkles like diamonds. And they do keep their spiral shell, and they are basically like a living dream given flesh. And for the longest time, I imagined Gary from SpongeBob with a body. And so we got this official true form appearance thing. I don't know where I got Gary from, but
mine was pretty close to that. It wasn't Gary, but it was very close.
Okay, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
And then their true form ability is Dream Prison. They are basically able to lock somebody in their dreams, in their own dreams, permanently keeping them in a dreamscape And the prison is broken once the Arcanist dies, or when the person locked away embodies hope. So people can actually escape it on their own. They just got to figure out how to have enough hope.
Eric, Scott, and I want to thank everyone for listening today. We post a new episode every Wednesday morning at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, and 8 Pacific Standard Time. We are on all podcasting platforms and are also on YouTube as well for video. After the additional episode airs, we post chapter-by-chapter videos every day in a smaller, easier-to-digest format. We do want to give a special shout-out to the final member of our team, Dan Mackison, one of the admins for the Frith Chronicles wiki, link listed below, and doing his best to keep everything running smoothly behind the scenes. If you want to reach out to us, you can email us at frithguildpod@gmail.com or on Facebook or any other social media by searching for Frith Guild Podcast. Just to remind everybody, we have links to everything in the description below on both the podcast and YouTube.
And with that, we do want to thank everybody for listening this week. We just want to remind everybody that Labyrinth Arcanus is coming out in December, on December 10th. That'll be about a month away from when this recording is going to be released, a month and some change away. Next week, since is going to be the week of Halloween and the day before Halloween, Scott and I are going to, and we're going to dress up for Halloween ourselves, I believe. So we'll be definitely excited to show you guys that. And Scott, did you have anything else you'd like to add this week?
Nope, just excited for figure out what my costume will be.
All right. Well, with that, we thank you everybody for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week. Oh my gosh. I feel like people wouldn't look past him or wouldn't expect it. Sorry. Wouldn't
put it past him.
Put it past. There you go. Thank you. Words.